Okay, and we're away. Take it away, Kaylin.
Awesome. Thanks, Joan. Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our presentation during the AWP conference. My name is Kaylin Langiza. I am the Director of Marketing here at Eyrus, and unfortunately, our presenter, Sarah, was unable to be here due to a scheduling conflict, but no worries. We got some good stuff recorded for you from her, so you can kind of hear her voice and see her presentation. And myself will be here for questions and answers should anybody have any. So I'm going to go ahead and start the presentation, and please let us know if you have any questions at any time.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Sarah El Taher. I'm the Senior Solutions Consultant for Eyrus. And today I'm going to reveal to you the power of workforce visibility and real-time scheduled deviations for advanced work package management. But first, why is visibility essential on project sites in the first place? Well, probably all of us can agree that the labor force is one of the largest, most complex and costly elements of any construction site. And since projects are also getting more complex and costly themselves, workforce visibility becomes key to delivering projects successfully. The founders of Eyrus, all veterans of the industry, came together to create a platform that gives you the ability to know if you have the right amount of the right people on site at the right time. For those of you unfamiliar, Eyrus came to the market 6 years ago and has since been on $220 billion of construction. Most of those projects are here in the States, but we've launched our first international projects last year. And to date, we've saved our clients millions in project dollars and hundreds of thousands of management hours. Eyrus has been on all sorts of different types of projects, from schools to data centers, industrial projects, renovations, even museums to hospitals. But it doesn't matter too much about what you're building, really. It's all about the workforce visibility on the project. And today, specifically, how it can be applied to work packaging. Let's first, though, take a look at how Eyrus works to understand its role in work packaging.
I'm not
Eyrus
hearing
empowers all
the
stakeholders to
presentation.
make a
Is
greater
everybody else
impact
able
by
to hear
leveraging
it?
workforce data. The data is first captured directly from everyone in the field, which then creates real-time insights and information in the platform. And that allows stakeholders to take action with more accuracy and gain control over aspects of the project from the field to the office. Starting in the field, so the superintendents, project managers, and safety teams, they are now getting those real-time headcounts and attendance for the whole site and project zones. And maybe not just who those people are and who they work for, but maybe you're also using Eyrus to track attributes, such as who has their OSHA 10 and 30 certifications. Is that person that's about to climb on the forklift certified to drive it? Or who has CPR training? A lot of these attributes impact security and access control. With Eyrus, you can create project zones as well as integrate into turnstiles and doors for access points. So with Eyrus, you can control who has access within the system. You can use mass text messaging to communicate safety announcements and evacuation emergencies. Eyrus also has a daily reporting tool, allowing the foreman and team leads to see their own real-time attendance, confirm those head counts, and submit daily tasks and percent complete. Moving to the office, Eyrus data supports everyone from the scheduling department to risk management. With Eyrus, you can upload a resource-loaded schedule, which is key for work packaging, so we'll be diving deeper into that. This data is also useful for pay validation or certified payroll data. We talked about the field team tracking attributes, but what do we need to know for compliance reporting as it relates to project requirements or for insurance purposes? And finally, risk management. All timesheets in Eyrus are archived, so you can go back to any point in the project to see exactly who is on site. So this can be used for insurance claims, productivity claims, or to gain a baseline to track labor overruns. So that's a quick look at the impact Eyrus can make, but how does it work? High level, let's take a look at the technology and how the data flows. It starts with everyone receiving a wearable. Eyrus has several choices, so you can select what works best for your project. We'll get into detail on those in a couple minutes. The wearable signals are all collected through readers on site or our app. That data goes to the cloud via Wi-Fi or cellular communication and gets stored and encrypted in the Eyrus platform. which is a very easy to use web application. From here, you can see all your real-time data and alerts, manage your projects and users, and slice and dice all your information for reporting. And from there, you can use any of our established integrations with Procore, Autodesk, and Oracle, or use the API to send workforce data into any of your own systems. Now that you know how it works, it's essential to understand how flexible the platform really is. You have flexibility and options in how you capture workforce data, what data to capture, where to capture data from on the site, and which data to see and use. So starting with how, you can capture data using Eyrus with just an app. So for example, you could check someone in and out at a site gate, and that's it. Or you could create as many zones on site as you want with Eyrus readers so you can automatically collect attendance. When it comes to what data to capture, it's totally up to you and your project requirements. So we mentioned those OSHA certifications earlier, but maybe you need to track everyone's zip code for an OSIP program, or maybe it's that if they're a new hire or an apprentice. Perhaps you also need to know which subcontractors on site are women-owned or minority-owned, maybe small businesses. You choose the data you need to capture for your own reporting. And maybe you also need to capture attendance in certain areas of the site. So again, you have flexibility in where you capture data. Is it just at the site gates, or do you need to see attendance in high security buildings or dangerous areas, or maybe just a field versus the office? It's totally up to you. For work packaging, attendance per zone can be key in real-time productivity tracking, understanding if you have the right amount of the right trades in the right places. And lastly, which data do you need to visualize? Within Eyrus, you can create reports on any piece of information you have in the system with our configurable tables built right into the platform, or you can send data with our API to visualize in your own Power BI or other system. What's essential here is that you build your Eyrus experience to specifically meet your workforce data goals. So the question is, what real-time workforce data is going to enhance your workflows as it relates to work packaging on your project? To discover that, let's take a look at what exactly the capabilities are. Everything in Eyrus starts with a one-time registration process per person. This process typically happens in line with your orientation process for the project. So someone comes on site for the first time, they go through orientation, get their safety briefing, and you collect any information you need from them, including attributes you need for Eyrus. From there, you provide that person with their wearable, and they're good to go. Once people are registered, all that data starts flowing in. You can automate and share certain reports with the team, such as daily attendance to the subcontractors or other stakeholders. We find our clients see a 15 to 20% reduction in claims and change orders with the transparency of data here. It's hard to argue over something if we're all looking at the same thing. Most importantly, we have clear visibility into trade deployment across our site. So we have total headcounts and attendance per contractor in real time and for the entire site, as well as specific zones. Eyrus has 3 integrations available. The platform will sync with Procore's manpower log to update headcounts per sub in real time. We have an embedded experience with Autodesk BIM 360 docs. And with Oracle, you can upload a resource-loaded schedule for real-time schedule comparisons to the live manpower in the field. My GIF here in the presentation is showing you the project dashboard within the platform, and then the progress page, which shows that manpower curve. This is reflecting real-time workforce in the field against scheduled expectations, arguably the most valuable capability for work packaging. So let's dig into that a bit. Eyrus partnered with Oracle to create our P6 integration. So everything starts with a simple upload of your resource-loaded schedule. Yes, we partnered with Oracle, but really it requires an XML file. So you didn't hear it from me, but that file type is available in other scheduling tools as well. With that integration now, you've unlocked an entire layer of new data and schedule analytics. So you're not just seeing live manpower in the field now with Eyrus, you're seeing it compared to the scheduled expectations in real time. You can see schedule deviations for the whole project, each individual subcontractor, and per CSI division. This allows teams to make more proactive decisions, especially seeing delays as they happen in real time. Additionally, you can set schedule alerts. So if a team or division deviates from the schedule by any percentage you set, you'll be notified in real time. Let's switch gears now a little to safety. Obviously, with all this real-time workforce data, there's a lot of great safety tools built in here for the safety team. First, using Eyrus readers, you can create zones on site, which allows you to see real-time headcounts and attendance in different locations. You can also integrate Eyrus readers into turnstiles and doors to create access points. Probably one of the most useful tools in Eyrus is the mass texting feature, baked into the platform at no extra cost. Now you can send everyone a real-time text for any safety announcements, such as weather alerts, evacuation emergencies, or even just to send project announcements. In addition, the platform has an evacuation tool that allows you to convert a list of today's attendance and an interactive checklist to use at muster points for roll call, an easy and very helpful tool to account for everyone's safety. Lastly, lots of alerts with Eyrus, starting with access control. You can create access control rules per zone, per company, and per person. If any of these are violated, you will receive a real-time text letting you know someone is either where they don't belong or has attempted to enter a turnstile or door when they were denied access. We also have density alerts available per zone. So if you have a situation like social distancing in place, or maybe you just want to make sure an area doesn't have too many people for other safety reasons, you can set density alerts. This way, if the zone hits its max headcount, you'll again get a text letting you know, so you can handle that situation when it happens. Finally, in our capabilities section, we have our reporting and database features, making Eyrus that single source for workforce data. The GIF on this slide is showing you our advanced directory tab, which has a configurable table. This allows you to select the columns you want, set parameters within those columns, and sort this table any way you want to create the report you need for the task at hand. Our timesheets report works the very same way, so you can pull timesheets and slice and dice that data for any time period. Going back to the directory, this is where all the information you collected per person lives, and that information gets added to Eyrus via the registration process. There are multiple ways to register people in Eyrus, so we can work with you on the best process for your team. Once everyone is added, they each get a profile page. You can see Alice's profile page briefly here in the gift. Here you can edit her information, add new wearables, or edit her access to zones. Additionally, you can upload a photo and print a badge from here. So no additional badging software necessary with Eyrus. You can create badges for the project and print them straight from the profile pages. So now that we've reviewed everything you'll get with Eyrus, let's talk about the impact it makes. Up to 25% time saved in admin tasks and sub-management on site. Up to 20% expected productivity increase on the superintendent's time alone. Our clients see a 10x average ROI on dollars spent, and an 85% reduction in safety and security downtime just with those real-time text messages communicating evacuations and safety announcements. Okay, now I know it's been on your mind, so let's dive into hardware next. Starting with the readers. Eyrus has two types of readers, Bluetooth or BLE, and near field communication or NFC. The NFC readers are what you would use to integrate with turnstiles and doors. BLE readers are our most popular, and these are what are detecting the Bluetooth wearables automatically as people move about the site. They can create a range of up to 400 feet wide or be dialed down to 50 feet wide. All readers require a standard 120 volt power source, or we have solar options if it's a total greenfield situation. And they also have IP66 rated enclosures, so they are totally waterproof. The wearable options coordinate with your data goals and reader types. So you can use Bluetooth badges or hard hat beacons, NFC cards that tap to activate a turnstile door or the app. And we also have SafeProx badges for proximity. The SafeProx badges use UWB or ultra wideband to detect other badges within a 6-foot range for safety or social distancing reasons. So for example, if you and I are wearing SafeProx badges and I step too close to you, our badges will alert us that we're too close, but they will also log that interaction data and save it to the cloud. So now if I tell my employer that I was impacted by COVID-19, they can download a contact tracing report for me from my profile page in Eyrus. That way you can be alerted if we were in contact within 2 weeks of that time. And finally, for Eyrus hardware, we have the Visibility app. This app allows your phone to behave like a reader. So now you can confirm who's in the vicinity around you using the Bluetooth capabilities of your own phone. The app has multiple modes for different use cases and allows you to take action for different scenarios. You can use it to capture data with check-in mode. It will check in both NFC cards and Bluetooth wearables. You can use access control mode to see access status per person or in order to grant or deny them access. And you can also use the app in read-only mode to walk around the site to see who's around you and who they work for. So clearly, Eyrus has a lot of awesome, impactful features and tools, but just as exciting is what's to come. And one of the most exciting features in our roadmap, coming in hot here next month, is our portfolio view. Currently, Eyrus has a great project dashboard, giving you all the high-level information you need. So to take it to up a level, we're building out a portfolio view to show you multiple projects and their high-level essentials on one dashboard. Here you'll see aggregated metrics of the portfolio of projects, such as how many people are deployed in total, any alerts on those projects, and scheduled deviations if that portfolio is using the P6 integration. So now we can see an entire portfolio or program of projects if they're on track or delayed according to the schedules. From there, we can dive into any one of the individual projects for the standard Eyrus project view. Okay, now I'd actually like to jump into the system itself and show you how some of this data is presented and available for you to use. So when I log into Eyrus, I land right here on my project dashboard. This is the highest level of information you're going to see in the system. If you have a webcam, we pipe it in for you here. And my demo project has a uploaded resource loaded schedule. So we can see here some high level project stats according to the schedule. Most importantly though, we can see how many people have been seen on site today, and then how many people were expected to be on site today per that schedule. Here we have our percent of total hours completed out of what's required. So this project is about 74% through, and we can see that how many hours have been recorded so far against how many hours are required to finish the job. And then our project velocity statistic, which is how on track are we? So how many hours have we recorded to date against how many hours would we expect to record to date per that schedule? These two are actually the same. They're just broken out for your critical path. So when you add subcontractors to Eyrus, you can select whether or not they're part of the critical path. And you can change that as a project progresses, but you'll be able to toggle throughout the system to look at the full workforce information or just the critical information. If we have any project alerts, you can see them here. We have a weather bug here with the wind speed for any tower cranes, any days remaining on the project as well, a little countdown. And if we do have this weather look ahead, and if you're using that P6 resource loaded schedule, you're going to see how many people are expected to show up these days and how many hours are expected to be recorded. So if there is a weather event in the near future, we'll understand what might need to be made up after the fact. We also have TCI here. This is an Eyrus specific indicator. This is your trade consistency index. So because Eyrus knows who's on site, it's able to tell you how consistently those people are coming back to the site. OSHA tells us that the most accidents happen on site within those first 80 hours. So once you've acquired 80 hours in Eyrus, you are considered consistent. So you'll be able to see the TCI per project here, per critical subcontractors, and then we dive deeper into the system. You'll see that all the way down to the second tier sub. I'll go ahead and toggle over to my zones so we can show you a zone dashboard. I mentioned that you can zone within the site project, the project site rather, so that we can see real-time attendance in these different zones as it's happening throughout the day. So there's a full list of your selections here, the people that are within the zones you've selected, where they were seen last and when they were last seen and who do they work for. So you can slice and dice a little bit of information on this page as well for whatever task you're using here. I'm going to go ahead and tap on our progress page. And this is that manpower curve we're seeing. So all the data that we're collecting, we're going to show here in a graph format. So you can toggle this page to kind of configure this to be what you'd like to look at. So we're looking at the entire project to date. If I go ahead and look at the entire project, you'll see here how that manpower curve kind of changes. Everything in orange is our actual workforce, and everything in green is what's on the schedule. So this is a nice graphic kind of visual here of that 74% we saw on the project dashboard. I'm going to jump into groups here. Our groups page, we have our contracts and our CSI divisions. So on my contracts page, I'm seeing all the different subs that are on my site. And because I have that schedule, the resource loaded schedule uploaded as well, I'm seeing their deviations in real time. So this is present on both the contracts page and the CSI divisions page. You're going to see now who's behind, on track, or ahead of the schedule according to what you've uploaded. And what's great about these is that you can actually click on any one of these divisions or contracts to go to their own progress page. So we get a little more specific in our view. We can also, again, kind of configure what time frame we want to look at. Are we looking at daily, weekly, or monthly? What we're going to see here on these individual pages are all the contributing contractors. So I'm looking at the openings division. These are all the contractors that are part of that division and their second tier subs and their information as well. And as a good example here, I'm actually seeing when the trades were expected to ramp up. It looks like in April on this project, and they did not. So what happened here on this project, and this is actually, it's a demo project, but the data we did pull from a real site. And the story here is that the curtain wall materials were very much delayed. And because the owner had some visibility into this, they were actually able to source those, source new materials from a different country and save 6 weeks on the overall schedule. So that definitely can add up in time and dollars saved. I'm going to toggle over to reports next. This is where all of our data really lives and breathes in a report format. So we're landing on our daily, which is exactly what you would expect it to be, our daily attendance. You can select any date from the project and go ahead and open up any of these subcontractors to see who was here, when were they first seen and last seen on the project, and their gross hours. This, of course, can be shared with all the subs so they can see what you see every day. They'll get their emailed report. Our timesheets report is where every single timesheet per person per day also lives. So since that's a lot of information, you can go ahead and select a time frame here first. So I'll go ahead and select last month. Generate that information. And what this is going to do then is generate the information on the page for that time frame, and I can go ahead and select whatever columns that are interesting to me to also have. So maybe I want to see my prime contractors, not necessarily my second tier subs, and take a look at maybe some titles here. But I can go ahead and create this now for whatever works for me. Right away, I'm going to get those gross hours. So if I'm looking for those incident rates, ratios, information, I have full-time for last month right here with 3 clicks. So that's very easy to find. But maybe I want to go ahead and create a report for last month. I'm going to go ahead and filter this by contractor. So now I've just filtered everything by contractor, and I can see if I collapse this exactly how many contractors were on my site last month, how many timesheets they provided, who those people were. And because I've selected these columns, that's what I'm going to be seeing here on my report, which I can go ahead and export. So all the data in Eyrus is exportable, especially when you're creating these configurable tables. Our main menu here on the side also has some features like text messaging I mentioned before. This is also where you can go ahead and take a look at your zones and configure some access control per zone. And let's jump into the directory. This is where everyone that you've registered, you can find here in the directory. You can search by anyone, by name or by badge number. And you can go ahead and click on those people and see their profile page here. And this is where you can edit any of the information that's been registered. You can edit this person's access control per zone. You can upload or end any wearables they might have. And you can also go ahead and print a badge from here if you've uploaded or even if you haven't uploaded a photo, that's available to you. And of course, the advanced directory page where I have another configurable table and can go ahead and select whatever information it is that I need for the task at hand that I have here to create a report. So I can go ahead and select those columns. I can actually set some parameters within each column, filter these columns, go ahead and create whatever report I need. So this is just a quick at a glance look at our software and how it works. Head back to my presentation deck. My presentation here has a few testimonials. I'm happy to share this deck with anyone that would be interested in just reviewing these on their own time. And I'm also happy to go ahead and set up a demo with anybody that wants to see a full product demo. I touched on a few things just now, but there's a lot more features and capabilities that I could cover as well. So very happy to do that. Go ahead and use this QR code to set up time to chat with me. Would love to hear from you. Or feel free to go ahead and contact me, reach out with my contact information here on the page. All right, that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much for your time. Very happy to present to you today, and I look forward to connecting in the future.
Okay, great. Well, that was our presentation from Sarah. As I mentioned and Joan mentioned, you can drop any questions you may have in the Q&A. We're happy to answer. And also, if you would like to set up a demonstration or learn more about Eyrus, you can visit eyrus.com, or also we'll be able to send out this presentation after the event. And for anybody that would like to take a look at it and schedule some time with Sarah or one of our amazing account executives. If there are no other questions or anything, I'll go ahead and leave it open for a moment or two if there are.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to raise their hand, anyone of the attendees to ask a question, then I'll just unmute them on my end, and they can unmute themselves on their end, and they can go ahead and ask, or definitely that raise hand feature on the left-hand side of the GoToWebinar control panel is where you can do that.
That's kind of fun.
And also,
you can just
if the
unmute people.
presenters all have a, can think of some commonly asked questions, you can just go ahead and all talk amongst yourselves there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just to kind of give an understanding, we are a very flexible platform. So if there's specific information that you feel you need to capture about your job site for the workforce and understand on an interesting and daily basis, we're happy to show you how you can do that with our platform. We can do a lot of requirement tracking. So for OSIP and CSIP, we can track specific information about the workforce to be able to show for reporting. And also our platform is pretty easy to integrate into your existing onboarding and your existing setup process. So those are some of the things we can do. You can see, but is there a way to try on each IWP by employee or crew? Yes, you can track by employee or crew and see against the schedule. There is a way to do that. Paige, if you want, we can chat through that with Sarah and understand which package you'd be wanting to take a look at. But yes, by using your resource loaded schedule and understanding where exactly who needs to be where when, you'd be able to see how much time is being spent in that respect. That was a great question, by the way. I'll make sure that Sarah follows up with you on that for sure. Of course, my pleasure. All right. Oh, okay. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, it was great to speak with everybody today, and we'll go ahead and give you a little bit of time back. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy the conference.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.